So yeah, Brent, if we could start with you in your world, so I kind of understand what that looks like. Could you just give me your name, title, and company you're with?
Yeah, so I work for Senior Financial Group. We're located in Knoxville, Tennessee. My role is kind of different. I have a hybrid role. I'm the business development manager as well as the outside sales manager. Within the role itself, my main objectives are to build partnerships within the community, but also keep our agents out there in the community, whether it be tabling events, educational events like what we're doing, being food or non-food venues. So ideally, it's just making sure that there's always feeding into a pipeline one way or another. So they've encompassed that all into one position, a hybrid position for me.
What states are you guys active in?
So Senior Financial Group, we're active in the northern part of Georgia, Tennessee, as far as I believe Nashville, and then we bleed into Virginia, no farther than the Bristol area.
As far as a general product mix, what does that look like for you guys?
So ideally, we deal with Medicare. That's our bread and butter. But outside of that, we do have ancillary products, cancer, hospital indemnity, things like that. Anything that you can compile onto a Medicare product itself to either enhance the benefits or provide money back for the extreme what ifs if they happen.
Now, normal day to day for you, like what does kind of like even hour by hour, or what do you find yourself typically doing day to day?
Yeah, I mean, my day to day is pretty much as I said, develop partnerships. So I have a lot of things that are constantly in the works, whether it's touching base with a new organization, potential partners within the community, but ideally it's scoping out venues, making sure that we're in the right areas and just, kind of getting those set up, but it's a lot of touch and go. I do a lot of tabling events throughout the community itself. So keeping our brand awareness out there, as well as looking for new opportunities to where we can develop partnerships. So I'm either going to be in the office, but most of the time I work remotely at coffee shops or throughout the Knoxville area.
Now, if you had to say what the three numbers are that you would live and die by, do you know what those numbers are?
I have no clue. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that. So you say three numbers. What do typical people say in that? So that
I mean, if it was like a producer, it's like, oh, my apps submitted, the number of clients I retain on a monthly basis.
So for our internal agents, I mean, we always want to do 15 apps written per month. It's not a daunting task. I mean, a lot of them do excel. I mean, we do feed them a lot of leads, but when we're looking at an independent outside agent itself, I believe that we look at anywhere from maybe 5 to 6 a month. It's kind of what you do. But the biggest thing is developing a pipeline, making sure that you have the ability to dip in, make phone calls. So it's not a constant grind when you're out there. So it's really hard to put a set number with it per se, but it's mainly, I think it's all determined upon your pipeline. Do you have people that you can call, get in contact with? So, and I like to see that constantly stay at 100. So you have 100 people that you can get in contact with at any given time to develop and revisit any conversation you had.
Now, I guess for you personally, like, how do you know if you're doing a good job or you need to pick up the slack, I guess?
I mean, everything's based upon numbers, but ideally when we're looking at events and stuff, we look at cost per acquisition. So how much money are we spending per event? And then how many people are we writing? So, I mean, it's a simple math. Figure out how much we're paying per event, whether it's through you guys or through food, combined all that together into one lump. And then how many people are we converting at that point? And then we'll get what our cost per acquisition is at that time.
Okay, cool. Last question on kind of like your role. What usually keeps you up or like keeps you at work later than you'd like at times?
Honestly, I don't really turn it off. I mean, the biggest thing is finding new strategies to get in front of other agents or agencies. There's nothing proprietary to what we're doing, what we're selling at this point. And honestly, I don't think we're selling. We're mainly educators. So what's going to set us apart from the other agents or agencies out there to where people find trust within us in order to assist them? So I'm constantly looking at new avenues, new ways that we can do the same thing, but do it differently. And, that's where you guys came into play, honestly, is, through the digital realm.
Awesome. Okay. That's it for like kind of your role, what that looks like. Now I just have a couple questions on what it looked like before you started working with us. So in terms of like, I guess, Medicare production and like your pipeline, what did that look like for your agents before incorporating Keywave into your repertoire tool?
I mean, honestly, it was, we had to run more events, spend more money on more events just to meet the numbers of people that we're getting in touch with. I think the best numbers I can tell you is June of last year. And I don't know if the numbers will be 100% correct, but I think we did about 30 events in June of last year Out of those 30 events, I believe we reached 67 people that confirmed that they wanted to do the events with us. Out of those 67, we had, I believe, 57 actually show up to those events. So that itself was kind of depressing because you just saw how much money you're spending. But on the contrary, utilizing you guys as an option within our repertoire. Now, granted, we have other ones, but collectively, we hosted about 17 events. Majority were held through Digital Wave. We hit about 491 people. And out of that 491 people, 286 of those people showed up. So we've been seeing higher responses utilizing you guys. So even though our ratio is better on the side where 67, but 50 so showed up, we are running constantly now at about a 50 to 60% rate of people that are signing up that are showing up at this point.
Awesome. So yeah, it sounds like you guys have that quite dialed in now.
Yes, we're getting there. There's some tweaks, and we'll get to that at the later part of our discussion where you said, where can we see this going? Because there's a lot of things that have popped up that I never knew that would exist. So
awesome. Okay. Yeah, excited to hear more about that. Definitely. So before you were working with us, what like marketing channels were you guys using for your events?
Yeah, so we used snail mail paper mailers. We utilized the company. How you kind of get your money's worth out of those is you would spend, let's just say, I think it was like $2,000, but you could put 7 venues on one flyer. And then out of that, you can pick and choose because that's the most cost effective way to do it. Because if you had one flyer that went out for one venue one time, you're only sending it out to a select individuals that are within that area, hits their mailbox. Will they respond or will they not? Using a digital channel, you can kind of touch base with a lot of people, refresh it every so often. So that way the same person's seeing it and they finally decide they want to go through it. So we were using snail mail the whole time. Got it.
When you guys were using like the mail pieces primarily for your marketing for these events, what was like outside of, the sparse attendance you described in that 1 month, what were some other like frustrating parts of like your role that just, the lower results made it harder for you to do your job?
So the hardest part is mail is determined upon the weather. So depending on what month it is, snow made a huge factor. If there was a flood, things along those lines. So there was many months where I even questioned if my mail even reached the mailboxes of these individuals because you're spending your money for something that you're not getting any return on investment. When we switch over to digital, I'm constantly seeing these ads pop up on my feed. If I'm seeing them, I know other people are seeing them. I don't have that question anymore. So that's the biggest issue that I've seen associated with it.
Okay. Now, I guess in your role now, considering that, okay, the events are much more dialed in compared to before, what has that unlocked in your role that now you're able to like focus on other things that are more important than just, the mail piece not working?
I mean, ideally, it's a lot of my role is based upon this outreach portion of it. It's just now it's expanded. How can we make it better? Can we find better venues? Can we, go in that route? How can we expand throughout not just us, but how can we get you in touch with our NCC side, which goes across the whole United States itself? I'm looking more at the expansion portion of it now, and that's kind of where my role is taken is start at small scale and how can we get it larger? Because if we're getting success, we have a sister company or a parent company that's above us that very well can utilize the same results that we're getting in their areas as well. So the expansion is kind of where this has taken me. So I focus a lot on the expansion portion.
Okay, got it. Yeah, now I guess we'll talk a little bit about once Keywave Digital showed up in the picture. So how did you first hear about us?
I believe it was it might have been an Instagram ad or something. There's a digital ad that was out there and I was just looking one day and I said, this looks good. Let me do a test run, do a phone call and just see about vetting you guys and seeing if it's legit. I mean, you never know unless you try. So I was desperate at that time to find something new and you guys were one of the first ones that popped up.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was late 2025. I believe.
Yeah, I think we started maybe October or September, I believe, is when we started the trial run.
Do you remember what was going through your head when you first talked to us on that call?
I was very skeptical. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. Very skeptical about how the outreach would be. But one thing that did stand out is once I started talking to you guys and you made a point to say Instagram and Facebook, I did a lot of stuff, IT stuff to help out within community centers. And the seniors were constantly on Facebook. I mean, they wanted to know how to merge their 4 Facebook accounts into one and all this stuff. So when you guys started talking about how you do your outreach, I knew that there was something there, and it wasn't just, you guys weren't just making this up. I knew they were on Facebook. It's just, if you guys have figured out how to get in front of them, get them to respond, that's what I was looking for.
Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like your experience with how seniors use the internet and then hearing how we were going to use it, that helped get you across the line to starting to work with us.
Yes.
Was there anything else that ultimately pushed you over the line to take the plunge, if you will?
The willingness that you guys have. I mean, we work with a lot of lead sources out there, and their response time is very slow. They're just kind of, they're just not with it. You're just another number. I got the idea from talking to you guys that we wouldn't be a number. It would be something that where we could really develop a partnership with you guys. And that's something that stands firm with me, because I want somebody that's going to work just as hard as I work with them. So you guys really made that clear that that is something you do. And honestly, at this point, with how much I've put on to you guys, you really stand true with that. So I actually do appreciate it.
Thank you, Brandon. And yeah, we appreciate that trust as well. Goes both ways. I guess, yeah, now flash forward to like today. So we've been working together for, almost a year and a couple months here. What does it look like for your key numbers that you look at on like a weekly basis at this point?
So the key things I'm looking at is how many people are signing up for our event. So those are the individuals, and if they're going to bring a +1, and ideally how many of those are actually showing up to our events. So I get very excited Fridays, because if I know I have a lot of events coming up earlier the week, a lot of people are on their social media. So if I'm not getting a lot of emails over the weekend, I kind of get a little sad, but seeing my email blow up, I know that we're getting good responses. So I look at the numbers with that. The biggest thing that we're really honing in on is not everybody is a right now. And what I mean by that is they're turning 65 at some point, or they're going to be what we call an annual enrollment person that we can touch base with. So there's a mixture of right nows, and there's some that we're going to have to deal with later. So it's really hard to get that return on investment, so to speak, that number, but it's slowly going in the right direction as we're getting people that are finally converting, and we kind of see where everything is. So I would say between signups, the people that attend, and then of course the return on investment, how many people are we converting from those?
Okay. Any change in agent retention or recruiting at SFG at this point?
Recruiting has gotten better because we now have a little more edge out there besides doing the mails with you guys, and then our contract agreement that we drew up on. That is something that really stands out for them, because they know they're not in competition with a lot of other individuals out there. So very appreciative of that aspect of it. As for something else to speak on, the buy-in that I've had with a lot of my agents in order to utilize services for leads has been non-existent. I now have complete buy-in that they see how successful these are, the results that we're getting from them. They're now buying in. So I have a lot more agents that are willing to, what I say, get off the couch and actually go out there and hold an event, as opposed to talk to me all the time and say, hey, I don't have a pipeline. I don't have anything. Do you have any options? Well, they're utilizing you guys as an option, which I'm very excited about.
All right. So it sounds like morale generally, if you're going to give someone some seminars, they seem more ready to go do the work than.
Absolutely. Having a quality option for them has really shown through to them. They can get behind it more. Outside
of morale, like operationally, like what else feels different in your day-to-day now that this is kind of running at like a good level?
I'm busier. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now. I'm a lot busier. There's a lot more things for me to keep track of, which is always a good thing. So day to day, I'm busier. My team is more excited. They're actually out there looking for venues. They're just more in tune with where they're trying to go at this point. They're not looking at me to find handouts for them. They're actually creating their own destiny, and I just have to schedule the events for them to make sure they're where they need to be. So, but overall, I'm busier, which is a good thing.
Okay, awesome. Now, was there any specific moment where you thought, okay, we're going to stick with these guys?
It's through the conversations with you guys. Just working with you, yourself, as well as your team has really made me buy in a little bit more. Are there other individual companies out there that do them? Yeah, but every time that potentially gets brought up in one of our meetings that, hey, we might want to look at this other one, they do the same thing. I always come back to you guys and said, hey, competition's doing this. Can you guys incorporate this? And so far, you guys have met it head on. There hasn't been anything. So the willingness that you guys have and the communication I have with you guys is what it goes above and beyond, because I can trust you guys that you have my best interest.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate those kind of words. And yeah, we're trying to stay at the forefront, obviously. And having your feedback from the boots on the ground, that's what's going to help us continue to make it better overall. As far as like the agent experience, as far as like our onboarding team using Eventful, what feedback do you have there? Like, are you guys getting good results with it? Do you feel like it's useful?
We can talk about what other companies are out there doing in order to make it successful. I mean, granted, that's a scaling thing that they've kind of made their niche with. The agents like it. The ease of the portal is very easy. My biggest thing is getting my agents to actually call these leads that are popping up. A lot of times I let them sit there until the last minute. So a warm lead now turns into a cold one. And that's when we see responses actually drop. But I mean, overall, the portal's good. Love the drip campaigns. They do a lot of the work for us at that time. There's a couple areas that I would like to see if we can hone in to see if we can make it a little more successful. Not something that you guys are doing wrong, but just what I'm seeing could potentially assist us. But overall, everything works really well. I haven't heard anybody say it. It's just mainly on the agent side. We are always so busy. We don't have time to do anything. So how can we get our lead sources to help us out in that process to make our lives easier so we can dig in and the more we convert, the more we're going to buy in. So that's kind of what they're looking for.
Yeah, definitely excited to hear more about that. As an admin, how would you say your visibility is into like the individual agents we're supporting through our platform?
So as myself being the admin overseeing, I mean, I can see everything that's going on. I see all the leads that are coming in. And honestly, I can give a little encouragement and everything from there. So it's actually very useful for the access that I have. Is a little overwhelming at sometimes, yes. But I mean, I have 15 agents, 16 agents that are constantly having leads come in. And I think our most successful event, we had 126 potential leads that could show up to our event itself. So you got to correspond that with emails. I'm running about 20 to 22 events. 10 of those are going to be with you. Other ones are going to be libraries that we have a separate one that we use. It's a nonprofit that we use for those because we can't get into libraries unless you're a nonprofit now, which is a thing on its own. So a lot of emails and stuff coming in. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's been good.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I guess now to talk about the part that, it's easy to avoid, like kind of where we screwed up, where we made things harder. I know we got off, the start wasn't perfect, but I guess from your point of view, what really felt off or frustrating for the first couple of events you ran with us?
I mean, the biggest thing, and honestly, I think it's pretty much the only thing that stood out when we onboarded an agent and I would not get the overseeing access. So I'm sitting here blind and I'm wondering if we're getting emails sent out or anything. But I mean, overall, I mean, the ads were running on time. Everything was running on time. You guys did everything you want. It was just an oversight of clicking a button or something to where I would see that the emails would be coming in for leads that are, so I have my eyes on it. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, responses have always been good. I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
Was there ever a point where you thought, I don't know if this is going to work? Like, what happened? Any second thoughts ever?
It's not that it's not going to work. It's how can we make it better is always what it is, because I believe it's within its infancy at this time. We're still starting up. We're noticing patterns. We're noticing trends. And how can we get technology to work with us at this time in order to cut down on some of that? But it hasn't been not working with you. It's how can we enhance the process? How can we enhance what we have already?
Okay. I guess one of my final questions is, if you were running, Keywave Digital, this marketing agency, what would you have done differently? Like, either in the first 16 to 90 days of working with us, or even like now, if you could put yourselves in our shoes for a minute.
Let me see. That's a good question. Honestly, don't know what I would say that I would do differently. I mean, your customer service is great. Your responses are great. We had the one hiccup with the portals itself, but outside of that, everything was great. I believe what I would do differently is, I would do this. I would stress the part about the text message portion. because originally when we went through the process, I thought it was an extra charge.
Okay.
But it was later made clear to me that it's not an extra charge on everything we're doing. Unless we don't use it how it's supposed to be used. It's supposed to be used for the portal access to get in touch with the leads and so on, because we're late to the game on that one. I believe that could have been a game changer several months before. So I'm doing the cleanup on the back end in order to do it. So I guess that's what I would do, is the significance of the texting option as opposed to the email, and how it's not an extra charge, even though your blurb says it's like there's whatever the APY or whatever. It's a very daunting. It makes you like, oh, I'm going to get charged $2 every time a text message or something comes through. Once Gabriel explained it to me and is like, no, there's no extra charge. It comes with it. We just need to get you a phone number and all that stuff. And I bought in, and my whole team's on it now. So that right there is the only thing that I would change, is because that is a game changer. Everybody has their phone in front of them to get a text message. It takes more effort to go into an email.
Okay. No, that totally makes sense. I guess my final question would be, I know at this point we've worked with you on like about 2 quarters of helping you plan out the venues. How has that been helpful? Has it been like more helpful than you intended, or not as helpful? Any feedback on like the territory planning we've helped you with, worked together with you on?
I think when an agent or an agency is starting off, I think it's the most valuable thing that you can do, to have your feedback, because when somebody new is coming on, they're not going to understand the rotation of how to hold events once every month in certain areas. They're not going to understand what type of venues to use. They're not going to understand that what days of the week, what times to do it. So by you planning all that for them and kind of give them a blueprint, it kind of gives them a head start of where to go or something to, go by. Because at that point you can say, this is what works. If you want to go against it, you can go against it, but this is what we see work. I think when anybody starts up, I think it's the most valuable thing that you have. Now that I'm kind of more experienced and I have an idea with it, I can kind of wash, rinse, and repeat. I'm now, as you can see, if you look at my account, I'm running the same venues in the same areas. I'm just copying, pasting, moving them, just setting up dates and everything. And I might add a new venue in as we expand. But yeah, it's just copy and paste every other month. I'm putting the same events on there and just running them back at this point.